Let's watch a CNN panel discussing some hostages that were just brought home under Trump's watch, where the MAGA members on the panel try to make the claim that Trump saving hostages is just somehow better than when Biden does it. Hey you, yes, you, we now have a Substack website where you can help support the channel. For just $8 a month, you can get daily articles exposing the chaos in Trump's first 100 days, a weekly podcast, and other exclusive perks, all while helping the channel grow and defend democracy. This is something that's not just very important to me, but enables us to get our message out to the most amount of people while also being just a genuine passion that I would love to pursue. So for those who have been wondering how to support the channel, how to help us grow, you can sign up now at the first link in our description. Thank you, and let's get back to the video.
I covered Trump, I covered Biden. They are working constantly. The people in that hostage affairs office, they are salt of the earth, nonpartisan individuals. They are fighting every single day to bring people home, and that was happening under Biden too.
Yeah, but you can't deny that Trump just has a different aura on doing so.
I think
you can't actually deny it, and I actually take a good bit of offense to the Brittany Griner references. I want to back up just a little bit and simply say that today's a good day, and I'm glad that he's brought home. And the reason I'm glad he's brought home is because I place that inherent value and give each American the benefit of their humanity, whether or not they are this gentleman or Paul Whelan or Trevor Reed or her name is Brittany Griner.
This comes after Trump's administration brought home history teacher Mark Fogel from Russia, and then also earlier in February, there were 6 Americans who were held in Venezuela that were freed, which is always an amazing thing. Never get that wrong. Something that deserves praise. Anyone should be elated by the freeing of Americans. Biden was great at this, freeing 9 Americans from Venezuela in 2022, I think 10 more in 2023. The problem for me here arises with how MAGA is acting, as you can see in this panel, where compared to when it was with Biden, it's nowhere near that. When I think that this should just be a nonpartisan thing that we can cheer on. And we'll get into this more after the next clip. But even in this one where you see her say like, well, Trump has a better aura, it's like, I mean, one, how Biden completed the biggest hostage swap since the Cold War. He brought out home hostages that Trump had negotiated for and failed to secure from Putin. Meanwhile, Trump brought home one person from Russia and his aura is supposed to be better. We should just give credit where credit is due. Why are hostage releases political to MAGA?
And so I think we have to give everyone that same value, and to castigate or for some reason make the public believe that Brittany Griner should still be in Russia doing that hard labor and those menial tasks and sleeping on those floors when she too is an American, I just have a fundamental problem with. And I think that today, instead of picking apart, and I don't even know what the deal was, but I will venture out and say that the price of an American soul, someone to come home and be with their 95-year-old mother, I think is worth the value. So Donald Trump and Steve Witkoff, they get that respect from me tonight as they should from every American. But the difference, though, is that you should be able to formulate an opinion that says the same thing when Joe Biden went out and got Paul Whelan, when he got Evan Gershowitz, when he got Trevor Reed, when he got Brittany Griner, because everybody deserves the benefit of their humanity.
Exactly. And MAGA might want you to forget, but they tried to lambast Joe Biden for freeing an American just because it was a black WNBA star, despite her suffering the same conditions as every other American hostage, despite her still being an American. But, you know, she's LGBTQ, black, woman, so conservatives probably care a bit less. Joe Biden bringing her home was not met with praise. It was met with rage. Anyone on Twitter at the time remembers that. These clowns are not patriotic, right? It's only when it serves their partisanship are they. Only when they feel they have the high ground will then they demand this sort of bipartisan patriotism, right? They also tried to discredit Joe Biden's prisoner swap in every way they could, just because it happened close to the election in an election year, rather than praising the heroic and amazing action that it was. Yet then when Trump frees one hostage, we on the left are supposed to like bow the knee and act like he just figured out peace between Russia and Ukraine. I mean, give me a break. Like Trump probably didn't even have anything to do with the entirety of the deal. Unlike with Biden and Kamala, we're reported to directly be on the phone call with Putin having these conversations.
The president sent Scott Bessent, his Treasury Secretary, to Ukraine. He said in an interview over the weekend that maybe Ukraine might be a part of Russia, maybe they won't. He seemed to suggest that the United States wanted payments from Ukraine in exchange for what the United States has given them. What do you think this all foretells about where this could be headed.
Listen, President Trump and the campaign made it very clear he wants to see an end to the war, and he wanted to see a peace deal. Now, the challenge with that is when Russia invaded Ukraine and started this war, to suggest a peace deal means that Ukraine has to give something up, when truly the answer to this whole problem is Russia should just leave Ukraine alone.
But Ukraine will likely have to give something up. The question is how much.
And this is what ends up being the win, right? This is a win for the idea that if you are big and powerful enough, you can roll into another country and take pieces of it. And frankly, we are hearing similar rhetoric from the United States right now about the 51st state of Canada, about taking back the Panama Canal and Greenland. So it is all part of a narrative of might is right.
I mean, we're already seeing his plan with Israel and Gaza, where Trump is saying we're going to ethnically cleanse the population, a crime against humanity, and then hand the land over to Israel, annex it, which is an internationally illegal crime, and then whoever else wants to move in can. We're leaning fully into imperialism and interventionism, George Bush-level neocon warhawk actions, all under Trump, which just has me laughing at the MAGA clowns who really believe that they were voting for a new kind of Republican Party that is actually peaceful. And Trump is the party of peace. Like, you dupes fell for it again. You fell for it in his first term when you said that he had no wars, it was peaceful, and it was all a lie. And you fell for it this time. And Trump is now sending Scott Bessent to Ukraine to essentially tell them they're going to have to give in as well, because America now rewards bigger countries for attacking sovereign ones. Hell, talking is hard, I guess, but hell, we're the bigger country talking about taking smaller sovereign countries now, right? So at least when your president is doing it, when your president and the entire party that he represents, the Republican Party, is a Putin puppet, essentially, right? They're just controlled by what he wants. They're going to do it because Russia, you have to understand, has interfered with Ukraine since the Soviet Union fell in 1991. They never wanted to allow it true sovereignty. They only allowed it to exist in so much that they could exercise full political and military control over them. When they would interfere in their elections, they could be sure to get Yanukovych, their guy, in there. They're fine with it then. When they have the military base in Crimea, they're fine with it then. But then the first time Ukraine votes against Russian interests, Russia then invades in 2014. But now, after then, we've seen, peace deals brokered. They still just attack them throughout Trump's presidency. Despite that, they pushed further into Ukraine a few years ago. And what Trump wants to do in all of this in the name of peace is to just hand the land to the aggressor, make the victims, the sovereign country, give in to them, who has never allowed them sovereignty, who they've had to broker multiple deals. They've brokered a deal with us to defend them because they've always feared what Russia would do to them. Also, Putin just doesn't attack again until the next president, so then Trump and his cult members can pretend he did good foreign policy again. I mean, they literally pretended his last presidency had no wars, even though this isn't true in any context, and that he was a master negotiator and bringer of peace just because he kicked the can down the road on most conflicts and he lowered the restrictions on not having to report on the drone strikes he carried out. I mean, his base will literally just defend anything he does. Let's be all the way for real about it.